Yesterday's swearing in of the first appointed Democratic Republic of Congo Minister for Regional Affairs 2 years after joining the East African Community came with the hope Kinshasa would start to honor its obligations to the community.
The minister from the DRC came also in my office this morning at 8, and he was bringing good news about the areas.
The DRC owes the community $14 million, the highest of all the partner states. Although the East African Community Treaty provides for English as the only official language of the East African Community, East African Legislative Assembly members allowed the Friday swearing in of Didier Mazenga Mokanzu, a French speaker, in the hope of the arrears being paid.
They speak French, huh? Jambo.
However, since then, there has been no word about the payment of the arrears at today's special sitting of East African Legislative Assembly, which was called to approve the adjusted $114 million budget for the community for the financial year 2024-2025.
Just for purposes of the record, we would want to hear from the Council of Ministers what's the status, how much has arrived.
Delays in remittances by the partner states is a thorny matter at the East African Community headquarters in Arusha and is cited for crippling the smooth implementation of the planned activities, with the EALA and East African Court of Justice suffering victim due to a shortage in finances. East African Legislative Assembly representatives on Thursday called for sanctions against partner states who fail to fulfill their obligations, or a call for them to voluntarily quit the community.
Some of them are saying we better be in SADC than being in the EAC. Then what are you doing? What are you waiting? Get out. You know, get out now.
Today, EALA members received a message indicating that no payment had been made by the DRC.
They had to solve some internal issues, and I think they have managed to do that. And they are not leaving this region. And I want to advise that do not try to create a situation where somebody will try to take wrong decisions.
I had a very precise conversation with both the minister and the ambassador, who is a permanent representative to the EAC. And by the end of the deliberations, we sent them a proper invoice of how much they owe. We tabulated. Okay, there are 3 financial years in a nutshell, and they will make good their promise, and I was very convinced by the conversation we had.
The August House was compelled to hold the special sitting to pass the budget for the financial 2024-25, with only 1 day left for the 2023-24 budget to lapse.
To improve peace and security in the build-up to the EAC political confederation.
Critical questions raised about the budget include the failure of the Council of Ministers to furnish the Assembly with a report on peace, security and foreign policy coordination in the region, which is a statutory requirement, and the enforcement of the non-tariff barriers.
Substantial effort in the peace and security situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo. These are efforts that require substantive debate of this House. I have frustrations with this House, right, Honorable Speaker. When it comes to heavyweight lifting, the Council backtracks. When is Council going to gain the necessary courage?
The most important aspect of why we are here is the question of peace. We know why our community collapsed at first. It was because the areas of peace are lacking an ingredient on how do we solve peace. We also want to design a mechanism of peace and conflict resolution and issues of mediation. They are going to be a central pillar for us to achieve what we want. Right, Honorable Speaker, as a committee, we have asked for the progress of the President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta initiatives. We don't have the progress of the report. What is happening?
I think there was a misunderstanding as to the nature of deployment and engagement, which resulted in the departure of the East African Regional Force. Now there is the SADC forces. Of course, it's a matter of concern that civilians continue to suffer. But I hope that sooner rather than later, all the leaders will get together and ensure that that issue is handled.
Though assurances have been given about the commitment of the Democratic Republic of Congo to the East African community, its clearance among the members of the East African Legislative Assembly will only be upon the payment of the arrears it owes the community. Jackson Onyango, NTV, in Arusha, Tanzania.